Catherine, so took a lot of time to decide this vote. In the end, it was very close. Tell us, could this be the end of Lula's career?
What this means is that Lula almost certainly will not be a candidate on the ballot when the election comes this October in Brazil. He has the chance to be seen by one more judge. Analysts say that it's likely he'll lose that case and he'll have to be behind bars. He continues to vow that he will battle as a candidate till the very end and even from potentially a jail cell try to run for president. But at some point, he might have to consider a plan B, and that's looking more and more likely based on the Supreme Court ruling on Wednesday in Brazil.
Now, Lula's case has really divided society in Brazil. How are both the pro and anti-Lula camps likely to react to this latest development by the Supreme Court?
Lula has many diehard supporters, so they've been in the streets for weeks, actually, protesting the fact that he's even close to being imprisoned. They will continue to protest. And one big question mark is whether, if indeed he does go behind bars, as is looking increasingly likely, they might take a suggestion from him to look at another leftist candidate, either from his party, the Workers' Party, or from an allied leftist party. Then you have Brazil's right wing, which has already been in the streets protesting against Lula, hoping for him to be imprisoned. And they said that if he was ruled able to walk free in the Supreme Court case, that would have been a victory for impunity in Brazil. They say that the fact that Lula is close to prison now is a victory for the car wash anti-corruption probe and a real end to impunity for powerful political figures in the country. They tend to support right-wing political candidates, some of who are very tough on crime, who have very divisive rhetoric. And so it's an open field for the presidential race in October, and it's yet to see whether Lula's supporters, if he's not able to actually be on the ballot, would be faithful to a recommendation that he makes or might stray. A lot of questions remain up in the air.
And as you say, lots of questions up in the air, most notably over that election coming up in October. If Lula isn't to stand, who's to replace him? Do we know what happens then?
You know, he's sort of been subtly hinting at this. He had a rally in Rio on Monday night. Over 5,000 people attended. And he had a whole lineup of other leftist political figures behind him. He said to the crowd that they, the elites and the prosecutors, want to take me out of the game because they think that I'm their enemy. But in fact, I'm not their problem. You all are their problem. He was speaking to his supporters. So he was insinuating that his supporters would continue along to support another progressive candidate if he were taken out of the running. Who is sitting behind him? Fernando Haddad from the Workers' Party, his party, the ex-mayor of Sao Paulo. That's a possible Plan B candidate. There's also been local media reporting that the ex-governor of Bahia state is a possible Plan B candidate from Lula's party. Then there's the option that he could endorse a candidate from another leftist party, like the Communist Party of Brazil or the Socialism and Liberty Party. They were also present behind him at the rally on Monday. So there's options swirling around, and he's sort of rhetorically preparing his supporters to potentially endorse someone else. Brazil has many political parties. Congress is packed with over 35 parties. So there's a lot of options, and Lula wants to take advantage of the fact that he does have sway. Even if he's not on the ballot, he hopes that his supporters will listen to him.
Catherine, thank you very much. You've been hearing that from Catherine Osborne, our correspondent there in Rio de Janeiro, just bringing us that latest development in that case.